Hey everybody, clearing. All right, this is a Divine Feminine check-in for those Divine Feminines who are preparing for union. So Divine Masculines, you can watch this, and Divine Feminines, this may give you some support with where you're at. Take what resonates, leave the rest. And remember, these are collective readings. Not everything is going to be for everyone. But, oh, I just saw the union card. 1111, Four of Wands. Okay, so let's get into it. Thank you, Divine Creator, for using me as a channel of only the highest, most beneficial information coming through. What can we see for the Divine Feminines? How are they consciously thinking of the connection and their counterpart? How are they feeling on the heart space and with their counterpart in particular? What are they wishing for? What actions are they taking consciously towards union? What is the biggest challenge at this time for the Divine Feminines? What is the spirit-guided solution for those challenges? And what is the direction the Feminines feel their side of the energy is going in the next 3 weeks? And this deck is going to be as it pertains to the connection, and this deck will be for Divine Masculines, how these energies directly relate to the Divine Masculine. Okay, here we go. So conscious mind about the connections. Wow. So we have the Temptation card with the Two of Wands. This person is sleeping here. And there is a heart on this apple. So the way I'm interpreting this card is that the Feminines are taking a nap, taking a bite out of crime. They're not wanting to go there anymore. They're trusting the process. This is a Two of Wands, a twin flame kind of card. In the inverse like this, I always think of like a ping pong ball going boom, 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 and finding the grounding, like it's inevitable. So it feels like these Feminines are just trusting the process. They may be just taking a nap on this road trip to get to the destination sooner, something like that, because they know victory is here. They're trusting the love. They're not, going into the temptation. They're just choosing not to go there. They're taking a nap in the name of love because of that heart there. So there may have been temptations in the past where the Feminines would have been taking it personally if the Masculines weren't communicating or showing certain kinds of more traditional shows of affection, that kind of thing. The Feminines are good on their own. How does this relate to the connection? Presence. The energy of presence supports our ability to focus our full attention and stay in the here and now. So they're not giving their energy to temptation, and they're allowing things to unfold naturally. So Masculines, if you're watching this, your Feminine hasn't gone numb or withdrawn. They're just chilling. Now, does it relate to the Divine Masculines? Yeah, equal give and take. So they're finally on the same page. They're not needing to overgive or do the most in the connection, Masculines, so they will reciprocate, absolutely. But they're kind of in escrow right now, waiting for the energy to kick up again. Mutually. What can we see on the heart, on the conscious mind for you in particular, Divine Masculines? Friendship. So this can be amicable regarding whether there are third parties or not. The Feminines are finding a peaceable way to look at everything. They literally feel if there are other energies going on, the connection's just not for them. And if there are not other energies going on, they're just giving this beautiful vote of confidence. There isn't a bit of animosity in this energy, is what I'm feeling. Like the Feminines really are not biting that temptation to tell a storyline. So many times we attempt to fill in the blanks with adverse storylines. That's easier sometimes when we're in ego, because the ego is the literal interpretation of things a lot of times. the ego has a hard time thinking in abstractions or thinking in probabilities. The intuition is very good at that, but the ego, it has a feedback loop that says, I don't see any masculine. What stinking masculine? That masculine's never coming back, or whatever. And so because the feminines aren't buying into that egoic way of interpreting things, they're hunky-dory. They're having some peace coming in. And the Four of Earth, so they're opening their hearts to what will be. Sometimes the Four of Earth, the Four of Pentacles, is hanging on too tightly. It's scarcity, it's stingy energy. They're not doing that. That comes with biting the temptation. In this case, the feminines aren't going into that lower vibrational interpretation. No news is good news. So the feminines are appreciating that no news is good news. How does this relate? Root chakra. So yeah, sometimes I'll think of the root chakra as a cork, as a seal of energy where we don't leak our energy or give it away to that temptation. So when we come into our own, when we're good on our own, we're no longer draining our life force energy because we don't have our own core integrity or our own foundation. So the frequency of root chakra, the red flower of life, stimulates passion and supports our sense of security on this physical plane, both in our bodies as well as in the physical world. So feminines are taking their sense of security into their own hands. If these connections haven't kicked off, be all end all once and for all, they're just reveling in good. We're at this level of development and it's okay because things are balanced. We're on this nice chillin' kind of energy here. Advice with the masculines. Okay. So we do get the Five of Coins here. There is a key. This person could let themselves in here. For some of these feminines, they are still not realizing there is the key and they can bring themselves into this kind of a balance. They may feel like circumstances are more powerful than their own ability to manage their own energy. This is a period of separation. We all know that's an illusion. So a period of spaciousness so that the feminines can come into more of a first person balance and root chakra healing. So if you're newer to the journey, don't be hard on yourself. These periods of separation, spaciousness can be a little bit overwhelming at times, but if you use them productively to heal, to let go of karma, to step onto purpose, you'll come through with flying colors. And each period of spaciousness has a different intention, purpose, productivity. So whatever those are, there's a reason that your subconscious drivers are not putting this key in the door right now. And it really is because, feminines, you have certain things on your side of the energy that on a deeper level, an instinctual level, an intuitive level, are taking priority over the union right now. So whatever your root chakra healing needs to be, coming into your own sense of safety, coming into trusting your own ability to survive, to thrive, that's something that needs to be approached. A master doesn't have insecurities about those things. So it is possible. Shoot for emulating that. Pray. Ask to be shown what your next steps would be into mastery while you have this spaciousness. So masculines, there is something going on. Now, it doesn't mean that these feminines, so for the feminines that are kind of more advanced on the journey, not more, worthy for love than anyone else, but have been through these cycles a few times and they're getting the swing of this productivity that happens in these periods of spaciousness. These feminines are really coming through into the material realm. The root chakra is this last layer of things grounding into the physical so that legal matters, finances, all of that are balancing out. Those feminines are closer to union. That doesn't mean that the feminines that aren't there yet are further from union ever happening. It just means that this is a process that goes from the spiritual, the emotional, the mental, and into the physical, and grounds on all levels into this waking reality. When we've mastered the energetic realms, it comes into embodiment. So there are a group of feminines here who are sorting out the final material realm things to usher in union. What can we see on the heart space? Bravery without knowing what they don't know. The sun in the inverse, that can be a surprise, I just heard. So these feminines are consciously walking through the uncertainty right now with their own torch, with their own light guiding, going through without knowing the outcome, without being attached, without having expectations, and trusting that their hearts will never lead them astray, and that this journey is intentional, that they are on this path for a reason, and they're here for it. Even though they don't know how it will all transpire, they are bravely stepping forward. What can we see? Fertility. Fertility invites us to be more open, more courageous. This is a card of bravery. More creative and more joyful than we were before. So the sun in the inverse can be a need for more joy. So this is an invitation, feminines, to really be more playful, to find the things that you enjoy, that you can spend your time doing each day, that bring a quality of life in. More joyful than we were before. It activates the potential for something beautiful to grow from our consciousness into a new and grander expression of ourselves. So you're just touching the tip of the iceberg here, feminines. As you come into mastery, you get to live life under your terms, and your idea of fun gets to be your daily experience. How does this relate to the masculines? Oh, the devil in the inverse. So the masculines aren't the bad guys anymore. When you take your full mastery into your own accountability and stop trying to get your masculine to do it for you, or lamenting that your masculine isn't there coddling you, or, you know, making you feel better through life's things. Yes, we're meant to have closeness and companionship, but we're not meant to feel like we're hard done by if our ideal person, or the one that we think is our ideal person, isn't coming forward and making it all better for us like a parent does. This is saying no more projection, no more blame, no more imbalances. You're coming into a level of thriving where you don't need anyone else. You get to be with someone else in this kind of an energy, but you first have to understand that you're capable. You are not hard done by. You can come into the presence, into that mastery, that you transcend the suffering associated with feeling like there's nobody there for you, feminines. And so this is a brand new day coming in here where your bravery, your spiritual sovereignty is about to pay off in really beautiful, fertile ways. And you're not going to be at the mercy of whether your masculine is showing up for you or not and giving you that dopamine hit of approval or acceptance. These divine masculines have their own sovereign path, and the divine timing is what causes the individuals to align or not align on these high-level soul connection journeys. And so really, you know, karmic partners, yes, there's malice and manipulation and all of that, but with divine counterparts, this is very important to understand that when they are pulled away, it's divine timing. You know, all of it is. When a karmic partner is pulled away, we can utilize that for our own healing, karma clearing, and purpose, stepping onto purpose. We can always tune into our divine creative gifts and this fertile energy. So it actually doesn't matter if you're watching this and the person happens to be, you know, a divine counterpart or a karmic partner. These messages of self-discovery and mastery still apply, especially if you're watching this channel. What can we see on the heart of hearts for these masculines from the feminines? Ooh, the call. So the judgment energy, and letting go of a new layer of sweating the small stuff. Suka's just throwing that bone around. Hi, Suki, we all see you. The feminines are seeing on a new level, on the heart space, what they don't need to. This is that biting the apple again. They don't need to make mountains out of molehills. They don't have to bite the hook. They can just wait to see the truth revealed. And if there is uncertainty or ambiguity, they're just going to carry on, keep calm and carry on. So on the heart of hearts, these feminines are not getting ahead of themselves. They're not hanging on to the past, but they're not making issues out of the spaciousness right now. What is the energy? Transformation. So karmic feminine energy is on red alert, fear, micromanaging, hypervigilant, incessant, chasing, neurotic, fearful. These divine feminines are balancing all of that out, and there is a transformation here. The energy of transformation supports our ability to gracefully flow through the times of transition, allowing the old to make room for the new. So these feminines, there's a trumpet call here. The angels are sounding the trumpets of this transformation. So that to me sounds like a divine alarm clock saying that it's ascension and union o'clock. How does this relate to the masculines? These masculines are poised and ready for, this is the Three of Wands, and the Four of Wands comes next. So these masculines are waiting for these energetic signatures to permeate the cosmos. Don't think for a moment, feminines, that your masculines aren't as attuned to you as you are to them on a good day, right? Because the fear can sometimes get in there. But there's a transformation going away from the fear here into this readiness. Oh, I'm being told to share an energetic test that I'm aware of. So you could imagine, this can gauge your readiness for union. You could imagine that your counterpart suddenly comes forward and, offers to go all in. Would you have any unresolved questions? Would you have any fear coming up? Would you have any hesitancy? Would you have issues in a current relationship that's not that one? Would you have legal matters? Would you have financial matters? Would you have certain contracts that you'd have to sort? Would you have certain mindset that you'd have to put down? Would you have clutter to clear? Whatever comes up in that awareness, if your person came through the door right now and said, let's do life together, I'm all in, what would you have to, if anything, would you have to still sort in order to say you had absolutely no hesitancy? Really sit with that. Don't just go on the wishful thinking, like, of course, where there's a will, there's a way, it would just all work out. No, what would you actually need to arrange? Even, just imagining now, living together and being in the daily flow, your schedule, the things that you do with your time, your money, are all of those things, the things that you envision you doing in union. Those are all examples of things that you can continue to do in this preparation for union. And a huge one is stepping onto purpose, not just clearing karma and doing the healing, but also establishing your purpose, your gifts, your talents, the direction that you're going, so that, you're not going to lose the opportunity to do that and reach your fullest potential as an individual when these romantic scenarios come in. I believe in divine providence and that these connections come in when we're ready. We're not given more than we can handle. And if a connection were to come in prematurely and the two individuals have not come into their own, it would sabotage, it would undermine the connection. And so with a glad heart, we all need to be coming into our highest potentials and continuing to sort the things out in our material realms, our emotional, our mental, our spiritual, our physical realms, so that we have made space and learned the discipline, cultivated that to be accountable for the long run. We're not just biding time so that a counterpart can come in and make it easier. That's codependent. So it's all about this transformation where we really see ourselves as these individuals who have gotten there. So this little Five of Wands card is saying there is, at least at bare minimum, there's still some minor things that need to be sorted, and that it's grace that is continuing to allow these connections to unfold at the exact pace that they are, for the reasons that many are just about to see these last remaining things settle out and make way. So it's like imminent. We've got a trumpet blowing that heralds in this transformation. What can we see for the manifestations that the feminines are looking at? Wow. Gone but not gone. And then the Queen of Air, which is the Queen of Swords. So deep within, feminines, you're sorting out, the feminines are sorting out, masculines, what they truly believe about these periods of spaciousness, about the connection, about your character, about their actions, about the way that the two of you interact, about how they feel about these connections going forward. They're really taking a fine-tooth comb over all of it and seeing how do they feel about these things. What does that assessment do internally? In this period of spaciousness, they're really looking at things that are emotionally balanced or imbalanced, and they're sorting through those choices of how to release the things that don't sit well with their soul and how to continue looking for the things that actually do. And then we have joy. So we got that message about the sun in the inverse. So that can sometimes mean that there is a rush of joy coming in. So that can be very good news. And as these unions start to come in more and more, and then we saw the more joyful than we were before. And now we get the card of joy. So this says, joy activates our feelings of happiness and well-being and supports a high vibrational state in our being. So this is saying, feminines, gone are the days when you have to lower your vibe. So that temptation energy we saw, feminines are really, sometimes it takes these prolonged periods of preparation for union to really extend past the stamina. Sometimes we can suppress the ego for a certain amount of time before we lose it, right? And so in these journeys, it well exceeds where we initially think they're going to come in. And so what that does is it allows us to have any of those shadow sides to be dredged up to the surface, where we get into the victim blame, the covert things that when things happen more quickly, we can pace ourselves. These journeys take longer to come in than we think, because it's actually beneficial to bring all that stuff up to the surface that wouldn't have a chance to surface, come up to be seen, if we were given these relationships more quickly. So feminines, this is a very powerful period of time right now, so that you can catch yourself out on impatience. That 1 Corinthians 13, 4-8, love is patient, love is kind. Look that up again, because the joy killers are any of the attitudes that we adopt that are contradictory to the things in that verse, really. And so walking away from things that don't emotionally serve, telling ourselves negative suffering storylines, or allowing the ego to say the masculine isn't here, so they're not coming. That kind of joy kill. So this is really catching yourself out, feminines, and not telling those narratives. What do the masculines? Oh, the Emperor. So Yes, masculines, you're not perfect, but in this depiction, the masculines are just waiting for the feminines to get there. It's a mirrored process. So the masculines are doing their work, but the feminines are also doing their work. So feminines, you may very well see where you believe your masculine still needs to do the work. They can equally see where you need to do the work. Think about that for a moment. It's not that they are unawakened. They actually see you with certain areas of your life still needing to come into that mastery and maturity in the ways that only they can see they're feminine, and vice versa. So it is equal, but it differs with the strong suits and the challenges that each face. So the masculines know. And they sure don't want to be the reason you're sad, feminines, right? And so we repeatedly hear on this journey, we have to have the right frequency in order to bring in union. That's because we get pulled apart by the universe if we're not in that right frequency, because we need to learn how to come into it. It's not that our person holds it against us and said, oh no, you're not in high frequency, so I'm rejecting you. That's not the kind of thing. It's a very tender thing. It can be heart-wrenching sometimes when we see our counterpart not living righteously, and it's the hardest thing we have to do is to give them more time, or hope they see the light and come through it. And we take space, and we send prayers or love from a distance, and we have that vote of confidence that we're not going to preach at them, we're not going to tell them how to do it, we're not going to do it for them, and we're not going to settle. So these energies, everyone gets to come into this level of well-being, and then we get to share those alchemical strategies and successes together in union. But we can't do it for someone. And so, yes, it's a long runway to get ourselves into that union hot seat, but it is so worth it. Masters, what can we see for the actions the feminines are taking? Wow. So the inner child healing is completing. So this is waving the freak flag. Like, this is unapologetically you, unique, wonderful, awesome you, feminines. And this is, that judgment card can be the trumpet sounding, like, make way for a divine feminine. This healing is complete. Like, this is showing the world the real you, the full version of you, unapologetically, just, for all to see. No more fear. The planet has been in deep darkness, with the feminine showing their exquisite spirituality embodied and, in broad daylight. The feminines were murdered not too long ago for being spiritually realized. Feminines, so many divine feminines are going to be stepping out in healing modalities and being more publicly known for their gifts, their talents, their abilities, their spiritual worth and abilities. And so this is such a good time to be alive, feminines. And it's not about going through a masculine to feel some sense of worthiness. This is fully, this lifetimes after lifetimes are culminating in this ability to fully be you as a feminine into the world. What is the energy here? Wow, 5th chakra, the throat chakra. So this is about expression. This is about interpreting things in the right light, and also speaking and conveying and teaching, I heard. The throat chakra supports our ability to communicate clearly and truthfully. There is nothing more truthful than healed authenticity. It's so settled, it's so whole, it's so real. What can we see for the masculine connection here? Yeah, so, they do know you, they do sense your potential, but they have seen nothing yet. So this is where the masculines really fall in love. When you are just completely you, that's when your light in the world shines, and that's what magnetizes your divine counterpart. For some, it's not who you think it is. For some, you really do know who it is, and they're just going to be like a moth to a flame when you fully click into this actual chill, embodied, lovely energy. What can we see for the biggest challenge for the feminines? Wow. This induction into this divine feminine embodiment. This is the spiritual, tantric, shamanic, soul included temple embodiment, feminine energy. And this is the never to be the same again internal tower, the restructuring. So I'm hearing generational curse breaking with this. So there is definitely root chakra healing in the collective today. This is a very powerful theme. When we heal the root, we contain our own fire. We're no longer reckless with our fire, with our emotional energy. It stays, and we can cycle that in our own being, so we're not lashing out. We're not taking things personally. We're self-contained. So feminines, there is an empowerment here that you are containing your fire. You're allowing your fire to fuel your creativity, to take accountability for your own actions, to allow you to be effervescent, to hover in the presence. This is new. It's not about putting things on others or taking or taking too much from others. This is self-contained, cycling your own energy, your connection to source, and not having those codependent imbalances. What can we see for the energy here? Freedom. So there is freedom from this bondage, freedom from these generational patterns, freedom from the lower vibrational assessments of these connections and karmic connections. Freedom supports our sense of limitless possibility and potential, boundless expression, and bold exploration. When you have nothing to lose or gain, it's just your experience of aliveness in this life. You're free. My guides told me a few years ago, when we can belly laugh and we can be spontaneous with our comings and goings, when we have actually authentically balanced out our inner worlds and our external worlds, so we can belly laugh and be spontaneous and do whatever opportunities come through that would set our heart giggling, that's when we've reached mastery. And so keep going. It's okay if you're not there. Keep going. And the Four of Cups, this is the coming back around. So for many, you are in a period of quietude, preparation, celibacy, pause, healing, clearing, balancing. And this connection is coming back around. But this is the biggest challenge, is to understand you're not being punished or outcast or rejected because you're in this period of embodiment, of becoming. Even in wedding ceremonies, right? The groom is not supposed to see the bride before the ceremony. That is representative of this embodiment phase for many. What is the solution? Light as air, I just heard. Look at this beautiful ballet. So the Five of Swords is the free will. I heard dance with it. These doves of peace. It's funny, I just said wedding ceremony, and don't they release doves at wedding ceremonies? So this is a period of no communication, so that you can use your mind wisely. You can, capture your thoughts and keep your energy light as air and peaceful. If you are not consistently in a frame of mind that is light as air and peaceful, regardless of whether you're hearing from your masculine, you're in communication or not, think of the essence of trust. You're not worried about what's going on, out of sight, out of mind. You've got a full life. You're in a beautiful alignment where you're dancing with things. You've got this richness of experience and vision and insight and perspective and presence. You're not concerned about what's going on your beautiful masculine's sovereign side of the energy. You're fully in your wholeness. And so there is a period of very little communication for many, so that the feminines can really adjust, acclimate to this way. What is the energy here? Honesty. So this is about what you are accountable for. Look at this lovely blue, light sky blue energy. This says supports our choice to be courageously truthful and genuine with kindness and tact. You know, even in periods of quietude, you are meant to just stay in this peace. What is the energy with the masculine? Wow, it's going to happen more quickly than you can imagine. For the feminines who are literally in this serenity, the serenity prayer is a very good balancing prayer as well, knowing what's your karma, accountability, and what is someone else's, and the wisdom to know the difference that comes through discipline, discernment, and prayer. When you know your worth, your accountability, what you are responsible for and not, you come into peace because you're doing your best, you're aligned, you're righteous. And it happens like that. This is the when you least suspect it kind of energy. Trust that you are tethered to the stars with love, and that there's great hope and amazing things coming when you least suspect it. Just focus on this very honest, objective, non-attached way of presence. And delight in everything that you experience every day. What is the energy of the near future? Ooh, wow, we get the messenger of air again. So that in this deck is the communication. So, ooh, I just got goosebumps. So there's passion coming without warning. I just heard sweep you off your feet. And I'm sorry, I can't even talk right now because I have the most intense goosebumps I've ever had in a reading. Literally, it's almost like, shh, just stay floating on the clouds, feminines. Keep your vibe high, because there is this rush of love coming for you. Lose yourself in the dance right now, feminines, because it's on its way. Like you've never seen before. You have never been loved and in love with a masculine who is also in their mastery. You haven't. You have no frame of reference for what this is going to be like. It's going to start out not at the king and queen and emperor and empress level, and it's going to grow. I just saw, like fanning the flames or rushing winds. It's this elemental thing that's going to kick off when it clicks on this level. What is the energy with this? Grace. Oh, it's so bright, it's blinding. So loud, it's deafening. Grace is like that. It's the most serene energy, and it is also the most passionate. When you come into unity consciousness, you've become someone who can actually embody the divinity. I'm being reminded that many times in holy texts we hear that it is too awesome to look at angels, divine beings. We're not cut out for it. But when you come into this level of righteousness, that is the intensity we're talking about. That supernatural intensity that is too big for an unawakened, spiritually underdeveloped energy to conceive of, to hold in their consciousness. Sorry, it's like before you're ready, it's like your third eye has an epileptic seizure. No offense. But when you can resonate with the energy that's being spoken of here, it's so ecstatic. It is just, oh. Grace says, grace supports our smooth adaptation to and anticipation of life's currents and changes as we evolve towards a higher version of ourselves on this earthly plane, bridging the divine with the human essence. So we are actually getting ready for the event horizon of our full divinity to start to come into these connections and for relationships to start to experience the sacred. And the card for the masculines here. Oh, feminines. This is a card of mourning and grieving and pause. You know, that period of time to let things integrate fully. This person looks like they're all alone, kind of just playing with this bowl with their foot. Nobody's around. You're not aware your masculine is watching you. So for some, your masculine knows more than you think they do. They're more aware of you right now and that you are truly, alone, not lonely, but in this solitude. I just heard, and they know you're not going to be alone for long. Wow. Let's pull one more card here. The Mystical Shaman Oracle. What can we see for the Divine Feminines? Ooh, the Curse. There's a song called The Curse. I used to know who sang it. Oh, I'm drawing a blank. It's so haunting and beautiful. But I feel like the curse is lifting. This is a 14. Okay, the curse refers to the limiting stories of our ancestors. Wow, we were talking about generational curse breaking and this root chakra healing. The bravery and the balancing that comes. It is so good to heal the root chakra and come into that authenticity before the unions come in so that the foundation is set. The curse refers to the limiting stories of our ancestors and the karma from former lifetimes. It is the source of negative patterns, and it can show up as a disease, a destructive force, or a blockage to our creative energy. The curse holds us hostage to a false story that we confuse for reality. Recognizing the original wound that is playing out in our lives can heal it. The invitation. It is time to recognize the source of your limitations. Did your grandparents live with a mindset of scarcity? Did you inherit genes for heart disease? Were you a slave or a master in a past life? This karmic legacy is ready and waiting to be seen, to be untangled, and to be released. Honor the players and their stories. Forgive everyone and everything. Craft a new life course for yourself. Okay, you can design an unlimited potential and reality. But if you have the filter of those generational things, the curses, the legacy that is of the suffering, forgive and be free. Let it go, not for them, for you. That is the grace. That is one of the biggest tests of mastery, is to let the past go so it does not cloud the now or hijack the future. Let it go. Pray to be shown what to envision, believe, what love would reveal if those pain storylines and histories didn't exist. Who would you be in this moment if you didn't have those painful legacies in your energy. Be that now. Okay, many blessings, Divine Feminines.